Good afternoon, my wonderful Israel Brief family. I'm Rolene Marks, and I look so forward to our daily date every Monday to Thursday, where I bring you the news making headlines here in Israel. As always, this broadcast is brought to you by Lay of the Land. Now, you might hear some commentary in the background. That is my cat, Jack. He's very, very vocal today for some reason, and he might chime in on a few subjects. On a more serious note, during the broadcast, I will be discussing the issue of rape and sexual violence. I know that this is very, very triggering to many. It is extremely distressing and upsetting, and I want you to be aware that this is coming up a little later in this broadcast. But as we do every Monday to Thursday, let's take a look at those top stories. And today is day 173 since the start of Israel's war with Hamas. There has been a lot of focus on what is happening in Gaza as Israel continues what we call Operation Swords of Iron. But what is not being reported in the media and what we're not hearing from the international community is what is happening on Israel's northern border. There have been significant escalations in the last couple of weeks. When Israel started our military campaign on the 8th of October, we also noticed that Hezbollah, which is another Iranian proxy, started their attacks on Israel. Now, we are prepared for any eventuality. It has always been the belief that if war breaks out on one front, it will invariably break out on another. And really, right now, Israel is fighting on many fronts. We have the war in Gaza. We are dealing with the issue of Houthis in Yemen, also an Iranian-sponsored proxy who are attacking those shipping lines in the Red Sea, creating havoc for all of us. We have tensions always in the West Bank. It is Ramadan at the moment, and of course it's a very, very tense time. Thank goodness things on the Temple Mount for the last 2 Fridays have been very, very quiet, and we have the threat in the north coming from Hezbollah, an Iranian proxy. In the last couple of weeks, we have seen a significant increase in the amount of rockets, anti-tank missiles and mortars fired at Israeli positions in the north. It has created and caused a lot of damage to communities, to homes, to buildings. Israel in defense has been striking Hezbollah targets deep inside Lebanese territory. We want to push Hezbollah, which according to UN Mandate 1701 should be north of the Litani River. They are south of the Litani River right now and creating a lot of tension on our border. Yesterday we had several barrages of rockets, and Israel struck Hezbollah targets inside Lebanon, killing 7 Hezbollah operatives. Now, Hezbollah have said that in response to that, in revenge for that, they take responsibility for the firing of at least 30 rockets towards Israeli sovereign territory this morning, mostly towards the Israeli town of Kiryat Shmona in the north. A young Druze man, 25 years old, his name is Zahar Bashara, was killed. Zahar Bashara was working in a factory. He was the sole breadwinner of his family. He was planning to propose to his girlfriend, and now he has been murdered by Hezbollah terrorists. We have been notified that certain roads in the north around the Golan Panhandle have been closed as we anticipate another escalation. Now, we are not in a full-scale war with Hezbollah, but we are seeing a significant increase in tensions. Yesterday, rocket fire from Hezbollah struck a wine farm, causing 20 million shekels worth of damage. And in the past couple of weeks, they've also hit chicken coops, causing the death of thousands of chickens. There has been significant damage to farms, and of course we have many internal refugees inside the state of Israel who have been evacuated as a result of Hezbollah firing on Israeli positions in the north. Now I'm going to address the issue of sexual violence. Yesterday, the New York Times published an article. They have spoken to former hostage Amit Soussana. Amit Soussana was kidnapped from Kfar Aza, one of the kibbutzim in the south that was one of the worst hit on the 7th of October. I have been down to Kfar Aza, and the level of destruction is more than words can adequately describe. Amit was taken into Gaza at gunpoint. It took an hour to get her in. She fought bravely and she was taken in, and she has become the first former hostage to speak on the record with her name known about the torture and the rape she endured while held hostage by Hamas. I'm going to look a little off camera now and read to you a little bit from the article. He came towards me and shoved the gun at my forehead. Former hostage Amit Soussana recounts the horrifying sexual assault and torture she endured in Gaza. Early that morning, she said, Muhammad unlocked her chain and left her in the bathroom. After she undressed and began washing herself in the bathtub, Muhammad returned and stood in the doorway holding a pistol. After hitting Miss Soussana and forcing her to remove her towel, Muhammad groped her, sat her on the edge of the bathtub and hit her again, she said. He dragged her at gunpoint back to the child's bedroom. Then he, the gun pointed at me, forced me to commit a sexual act on him. That's just an excerpt. She talks about how she was tied up like a chicken, she says, across two couches and beaten in the head. She sustained significant damage to her eye sockets, her knees, and when she came out of captivity was very badly bruised on her back. She was held captive in a child's bedroom and then transferred into the tunnels. Now, there's no air in those tunnels. And what we know is that at least 19 women and girls are still being held captive amongst the 134 hostages. The incredibly courageous Amit, incredibly courageous, has found the courage to come forward and speak about what happened to her. She says to raise awareness of what is happening to the other women and girls in those tunnels. Our President Isaac Herzog said she speaks for those who cannot speak for themselves. Her bravery is unparalleled. Now we know that women's organizations, feminists, have denied this, despite the overwhelming evidence that even the United Nations has said that the evidence is absolutely beyond being refuted. And the reason I'm talking about this is we are 173 days in. We need to keep telling the story of what happened on the 7th of October and what continues to happen to Israeli captives that are being held hostage by Hamas. As the world turns more and more and isolates the state of Israel because speaking about the atrocities does not suit their narrative, we need to be the voices of Amit, all our women, and all those who have been victimized, murdered, and are being held hostage. Last night, the family of Uriel Baruch, who was kidnapped from the Nova Festival, were told that he had been murdered in captivity by Hamas and his body is being held in Gaza. Baruch was 35 years old. He was a father of two. May his memory be blessed. And in Hebrew we say, Hashem yankum damo. May the Almighty avenge his blood. Tonight the War Cabinet will meet to discuss negotiations. Israel's team has returned from Qatar after Hamas refused the latest ceasefire deal. That's important to note this because so many around the world are demanding ceasefires, but it is Hamas who are successively turning them down. Earlier today, Khaled Mashal, one of the leaders of Hamas, said there will be no releasing of hostages until after the war. Hamas is demanding a full withdrawal of Israeli troops from the Gaza Strip. And finally, last week I spoke about the horrific internet conspiracy theories and pile on Her Royal Highness Princess Catherine, known to many as Kate Middleton. I prefer to show her the respect by calling her by her name, Princess Catherine, the Princess of Wales. On Friday, the Princess of Wales broke all of our hearts when she announced that she had been diagnosed with cancer, or at least that cancer had been found post-operative, and that she was receiving preemptive chemotherapy. I spoke about the parallels of how horrendous conspiracy theories and how people had bullied her and piled on and thought it was okay to attack Catherine, and likened it to a lot of what we are experiencing here in Israel. And the news broke my heart about her diagnosis, and I hope that everybody who indulged those conspiracy theories hangs their head in shame. Israel's ambassador to the United Kingdom, Her Excellency Ambassador Tsipi Hotoveli, has conveyed the best wishes of the people of Israel to the princess, wishing her a full recovery to good health, and saying that she is constantly in our hearts and in our minds and in our prayers for a full recovery. And I echo Her Excellency's words, Princess Catherine, for all that you do for Holocaust survivors, to raise awareness of anti-Semitism, and just for being the exceptionally dignified, elegant and classy woman that you are. We wish you refuah shlema. We look forward to seeing you back on official duties when you are ready. That brings me to the end of today's edition of the Israel Brief. I know it has been a very difficult and a very heavy one. And I encourage you all to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page is at Lotlsite, that's at LOTLSITE. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. If you like this content, please like, share and subscribe by hitting that red button. We are on X at Lay of the Land 5. To my wonderful Israel Brief family from Sweden to South Africa, Saskatchewan to Zambia and everywhere in between, thank you for holding the space for me, not just to bring you the news, but especially on days like this where it's very emotional and very difficult to do. Thank you for that. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.